The Michael James Jackson Foundation has been helping folks enter the bev-alc industry, whether it's brewing or distilling, and we were so excited to give them our Cause of the Year award this year. So to chat to us about MJF and all they're up to is Director of Operations Breeze Galindo. Welcome, Breeze.
Hi, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We talk about MJF a lot at Brewbound, but for those who don't know, give us the quick elevator pitch. What is MJF all about?
The Michael James Jackson Foundation for Brewing and Distilling is a nonprofit organization that benefits people of color in brewing and distilling. So, just in short, we offer scholarships to people of color to help their technical skills. Along with that, we have mentorships available. We try to create more of a networking platform for them as well. If they need assistance, giving them that opportunity for them to reach out if they need any assistance moving forward. So for us, it's really important to, yes, offer the scholarships, but at the same time, it's not just over after their program is over. We want to continue having contact with them, continue building that relationship with them to continue their career because we've realized early on that the support isn't just need the support doesn't just stop at the education. The support continues afterwards with the mentorship or just um, answering an email where they're having any sort of challenges with leading or having to change jobs or having to move. It's we realize that the responsibility goes beyond the scholarship, and so we've been adapting, if not evolving, to ensure that they get the support that they need in every aspect of their career as they're moving on in brewing and distilling. So yeah.
I remember one of my first stories at Brewbound at all, like 3 years ago, was one of the first rounds of scholarships. And at the time, I had talked to Garrett Oliver, who helped create this foundation, and he had mentioned, all the hurdles that get into just accessing education. So first of all, that was huge of just you have to have the finances to do that. You sometimes have to have the connections to do that. Like there, what are some of those challenges that people might not think about of just that first step before even as you were just mentioning all the things after education?
In order to get into the industry, it's you have to know somebody. It's really not about how much you know, it's about who you know. It's about being comfortable walking into a tap room and then befriending the front of house and then befriending the brewers who have beers at the tap room, and then it goes on and on and on. It's being able to have the experience to start as a brewer or even a shift brewer. You're right. It's completely out of our hands in terms of how much we can afford. So also, let's put it this way. If you think about representation, walk into a room where you feel like you're the only one there that looks like you. There's something that hits you that's almost like intimidate, like feeling intimidated or just feeling like you don't fit in. So if that's the case and you're supposed to kind of network your way in, how can that even happen when you don't really even see other people who look like you? And so with the MJF, it's really important for us to, one, we understand it because we've been through it. Like we have completely have been through it. I've been through it. I know Garrett's experienced it. We have board members who have also experienced the same thing. And that's what's important is having a team or having a board to not only understand that, but also having gone through it. So that way we completely have that same like level ground, that same common ground where we can understand their stories and also empathize and sympathize because yeah, we're all in it too. The challenges just don't stop at trying to get the education for it. It's more about feeling included or feeling seen or feeling represented, and those challenges do fall in the industry more than not. So with us being able to establish that program or establish that um, type of support for our awardees, it really means a lot to us because the stories that come through when we have our application process, it's not only like a very emotional, touching story, but it's kind of like I know exactly how he feels, or I know exactly how she feels, and that type of connection that we have in these interviews is man, it's something that I wouldn't change for the world, and it's something that I always like whenever I talk to donors. I always say like, man, I wish you could just be like a fly on the wall in these interviews because to really see these awardees or these applicants have this vulnerability about them because they feel comfortable showing this vulnerability with us in the interview process because they know that we understand where they're coming from. To see that vulnerability come out and that authenticity of emotions and also passion that they have is very beautiful.
Particularly when you're going into an environment where you feel like you're kind of the odd one out there. You have to put up these walls sometimes of you feel like you have to be overconfident or like show that you are meant to be there, and for you to provide that space where you can be that vulnerable and say, I'm still figuring this out and I would love some help and guidance here, is so helpful for people.
Even myself, it was always challenging for me to reach out for help for mentorship, because it was always that fear of like, oh, then that means they're gonna know that I don't know anything. So I understand what that feels like. And that pressure of like having to work twice as hard, having to work double the hours just to be seen as an equal is extremely exhausting. So because I understand that, and because I've been through those feelings, there's a certain push that you have to offer these applicants or and these awardees, where it's like, hey, believe me, like I've been there, so it's okay. Like you can, like, don't, you have to be shy about it. Don't say sorry. Don't apologize for asking for help. Having to say that, it's like, don't apologize for having to ask for help. And also another thing that we say often is, one thing we say often is due to the fact that our, when they come in interviewing and we ask them, why do you feel like you deserve this award? Sometimes like the awardees would say, well, I don't think I do. I think it's best that you give it to somebody else. I just wanted to try. And when they say that and they're saying it to you and it just hits you, I go into automatic like cheerleading mode. I having to look them right in the face of the screen. It's like, hey, you stop that, okay? The reason why you're here is because we love your application. You have so much potential, and this is where you belong. So don't say that. Now tell us again. Why do you deserve this scholarship? And then kind of getting them getting hyped like that, or them getting that kind of energy, gives them the confidence to then continue on with the interview process.
You have awarded more than 50 scholarships out there. You're helping more than that with types of folks. How are you managing working with that many people in that network? Like, how has MJF had to grow to support and create more support as it has evolved as it has?
Well, one, lots of coffee, lots and
Yeah.
lots of coffee. So Garrett being the president and myself being the director of operations, I've had we've I've never worked with Garrett ever before the foundation, and being a board member for the first 3.5 years was great seeing him do it. But it was like just Garrett, and then when I was offered the position of director of operations, I got to step behind the curtain, and then like realizing, oh my God, Garrett, you do so much. There's so much that you're doing. And Garrett understanding like more needs to be done because we're evolving. Me having the responsibilities of continuing that mission forward, and then having to not only reach out to the board members, but reaching out to our network outside of the board as well. So one of the things that's extremely important as a board member and someone who's in my role is having to not only create relationships in the industry, whether it's with head brewers or brewmasters or brewery owners, having to create those relationships and create that connection, that it's not only authentic, but it continues growing and growing and growing. Because once you have that relationship, you can go ahead and ask for that assistance. Hey, I'm just making up names here, so this is not, I don't know. Hey, Clara, like there's an awardee here who really needs an internship but only lives in your area. Do you have anything available? So, and having those connections or that those networks that we have outside of the board really helps us continue that growth with our awardees. Being able to keep tabs on 51 awardees is extremely challenging because it's only 11 board members, right? So having to, there's like a check-in initiative that we're initiating, where each board member is given 3 to 4 awardees, and they have about a 6 week timeline to be able to reach out to them. And we ask them 3 to 5 questions, very short. One, how are you? Two, how was your program? Three, is there any assistance that you need for right now, mentorship, guidance, any of that? And then four, do you have any questions for us? So very simple. But what that also allows us is, it allows us to not only touch base with them again, but also give us a different understanding of like, okay, so it's not just a scholarship that they needed. They needed something else, but they weren't never able to ask for it because they didn't know how. So this check-in gave them the opportunity to be able to ask for that assistance or ask that question. So the check-in initiative is extremely important for us to initiate in the coming year because we want that to grow. Because the network that we're offering them, we have to now apply a network for them to be able to reach out to each other. And whatever that is, it's like if there's an event happening and we know there are enough awardees there, then we'll have like a meetup, and being able to for them to meet each other as well. There's so much more that needs to happen as we're evolving because we're going to have more awardees coming up. So now we have to figure out how can we have them keep in touch where they can reach out to each other. At the same time, how can we awardees, Garrett and myself, have that same communication and connection with our awardees? It has to be intentional and it has to be organic. It has to be meaningful because if not, then it's just like, oh yeah, you got an award. What year again? Oh, right. I remember. Like that can't happen with us. It's if not, then we're losing the focus of what our purpose is. Our intention is to continue to maintain those relationships authentically so they continue to feel the support along the way instead of like, I just got a scholarship. That's it. Like it's just, I mean, it was helpful, but like I haven't heard from them since.
For anyone who is listening to this conversation, really excited about it, it's getting them energized of how they can help. What should they do or where can they go to help support MJF?
Well, to see any up to date posts or information about the MJF, you can go to our Instagram, uh, the MJF, and on there you'll see our awardees, our board members, information about our board members and our awardees, any information of when our next scholarship round is coming up. And we have one coming up in a little bit in the next couple of weeks to be able to have another scholarship round going through. So that's going to be really exciting. Any other updates from where we're going to be at festivals or CBC. So I feel like our Instagram is the best bet to get any sort of information up to date. And of course, our website, mjf.org, where you can get information about the mission. If you would like to donate, there's also a link there. And yeah, that's the two main areas where we have everything that you need to know about us and being able to reach out as well.
And Breeze, we can't have you on without giving you an opportunity to plug what you have going on as well with your own brewery. What is the latest status with Miluna?
Miluna Brewing is a brewery that I launched. It's my brewery that I launched in January, and I just released my first beer called La Primera, and it goes along with the Échale Ganas project, which is a project where I get to brew a beer with different breweries who align with the mission and values of Miluna, and being able to not only raise money through the events that I create, but at the same time being able to meet more people in the community. So my belief is that community will be the main source of building out Miluna because the community will be not only a part of Miluna, but also be able to embrace and celebrate the culture of of Miluna and the community and the authenticity. So I just had my first fundraising event last Friday, where the goal was to raise $7,000. I raised 7,500, and um, that was really exciting. And we're gonna just keep moving along with more events and being able to get to know more people in the communities out here in New York, and to talk about the beer and also what Miluna is about. So that's where I'm at right now. It's exciting.
That's super exciting. And congratulations on that. That's huge. Starting a brewery is not easy at all. That's quite an understatement.
Lots of caffeine and lots of crying, just like minimal crying, just very little bit of crying from the exhaustion. But yeah, it's so worth it. But yeah, that's where I am right now, and it's really exciting and scary at the same time.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see what happens with your brewery and excited to see the next round of scholarship recipients from MJF. Congrats again on being cause of the year and we're excited for the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and what an honor for Brewbound. It's pretty cool. Thank you.